Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Real Heroes Show. You got Cory and Nick with you as always.
Yep.
And in today's video, this is our ultimate preview of Marvel Studios' new series Loki that is dropping very soon on Disney Plus. Nick, how are you today, bud?
I'm doing well.
You're very emerald. We're
Yes.
both green for this episode.
Yes.
My little green
friend.
All of our videos are just going to start with Star Wars.
So Star Wars stuff,
that
yeah.
somehow relate to the color of the room that we're in.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, man. So Loki's coming out soon. It is I guess the third entry of Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're
Yeah.
3 entries deep and not a single movie yet. Check that shit
Right.
out, ladies and gentlemen.
Crazy.
2020 threw us for a loop.
Yes.
This one is 6 episodes long, so it's going to be just like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They're going to be 45 to hour-long episodes. So same format there, a little different from WandaVision. It looks like this one was directed by Kate Herron. I believe she did all 6 episodes. Also written by Michael Waldron, which, very important fact, he is also the writer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Very interesting.
So there may or may not be some connections to that. We'll get into that a little bit later. And this series is going to be a really interesting one. It looks like it's really based around time and hopping through time and fixing the flow of time in accordance to this TVA organization that Loki finds himself in. But the last time we saw Loki, it was in Avengers Endgame, and it is not the Loki that we have grown to know and love and seen a couple of redemption arcs for. So everything you saw from Thor: The Dark World and Thor Ragnarok and his slightly heroic death in Avengers Infinity War, none of that took place for this Loki. So this Loki is the trickster, the mischief maker, the supervillain of the first Avengers film, because he picked up that Tesseract during Endgame and fucked off to somewhere that we don't know where that is, which is pretty excellent. And somehow he finds himself in the hands of the Time Variance Authority, which is also like a super exciting thing that they've taken from the comics. And who does he run into than none other than Owen Wilson?
Wow.
Owen's character is named Mobius M. Mobius, and he is an analyst at the TVA. Kevin Feige has described him as being nonplussed by the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I think is a great way of describing the character. Is like, yeah, my job's just to make sure the flow of time works. I don't really care about all of your drama and shenanigans and your Thanoses. He apparently did not read any comics in preparation for the role. He actually studied with Tom Hiddleston on his character's journey throughout the MCU to kind of mold his character. And a fun fact, I guess his look in the show is meant to resemble an editor for Marvel Comics named Mark Gruenwald,
Cool.
who is considered Marvel's top continuity expert, which is pretty great. And in the comics,
that is cool.
Each member of the TVA was meant to be a clone of Mark Gruenwald, which is pretty neat. So so really good stuff there. I mean, you've watched the trailers, I think, right?
Oh yeah.
And so you've seen some of the interaction between the two. How pumped are you for some of that back and forth?
Yeah, I think their chemistry is going to be very fluid, hilarious, witty, sarcastic. I'm really looking forward to it. I think the very first time when we got the Loki trailer, the moment I see Owen Wilson, I'm like, no pun intended, but I was like, wow, like Owen Wilson,
the mustache,
and
like the skinny tie and all that. And
yeah,
it's a very 50s 60s motif they're going with the TVA, which is pretty dope.
That's cool.
But yeah, it looks like they're going to be the two leads of the show, and I guess the idea is the TVA is basically telling Loki, you broke the timeline when you stole the Tesseract. You can either be our prisoner or you can help fix the timeline. And it looks like he's going to be time hopping through history and altering the events of humanity, which is pretty fun. So the next cast member is played by Gugu Mbatha-Raw, and her character is Ravonna Renslayer, who is a judge at the TVA. And on the surface, that doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, right? It's a place where they imprison people, they stand trial, there's a judge, right? Interesting thing is that in the comics, Ravonna Renslayer is a love interest of Kang the Conqueror. Nick, do you think there is a chance that Jonathan Majors might show up in this show as Kang the Conqueror?
We might see a second of him, but it's possible, you know.
You don't want to Mephisto yourself. You're holding back.
Yeah, you know. How many times did we shoot ourselves in the legs with those theories?
I have holes in them still.
Yeah, I can't walk as well as I used to, and that's not because I work out my legs. That's for the predictions that have miserably failed.
Yeah.
But we aren't alone though, because plenty others on the internet and YouTube has said the same thing, and
we were all duped on that one.
Yeah, we were all thrown for a loop there. So,
but I think with this one, the Kang has already been announced as a cast member for Ant-Man 3, right?
Right. So we know he's coming at some point in time.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
It stands to reason that maybe not in the entire series, maybe just in like a quick conversation or a flashback or an end credit scene or something. Right. I think there is a chance. Because
something has to allude to him at some point.
And it seemed like they had announced his casting very early, considering that Ant-Man 3 is not coming out until 2023 at this point.
Right.
And they announced his casting like 6 months ago. So
yeah, soon after what's it called? Can't think of the show. Wow, terrible. The show we that came out on HBO.
Oh, Lovecraft.
Lovecraft. There we go. Yeah. It was right after Lovecraft that we saw how excellent he was in that series, and they announced that. And I'm like, perfect.
Yep, he's a
go.
Movie star now.
Let's go.
Movie star. 100%. Which is a great segue to the fourth main member of the cast, which is Wunwi Mosaku, which is the lady that played Ruby on Lovecraft Country.
Yes.
Her character does not have an actual name. She's just known as Hunter B-15. She's a member of the TVA, and you see her in the trailer. She's got like the riot gear and the large rifle looking thing and whatnot. But so we don't really know much about what she's doing, but I thought she was excellent in Lovecraft as well. I thought that show had a stellar cast, and to see that she's in there, and if Jonathan Majors shows up, we could have two members of that cast in this show. That would be
pretty cool,
pretty awesome. But that's a pretty solid main cast. There's some other folks in here. Sophia DiMartino, Richard Grant, he was in Logan. He was General Pride in The Rise of Skywalker. He's really good at playing just like total asshole characters. So
the bad guy
will be fun to see who he's playing, and the same thing with Sophia. Part of my thought process on that, in the trailer they mentioned several Loki variants. I think it's possible that we see a kid Loki, a lady Loki, an old man Loki, and that could be all of these people.
Yeah,
which I
that's
think
true.
Be pretty awesome. So
very true.
So yeah, I think it's gonna be wild. I'm curious to hear. So the writer Michael Waldron, he had a quote in an article recently where he said some of the events that he wrote in this show, he forced him to make some rewrites to clean up some of the mess in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Which is good.
Which is great. I love that.
Yeah.
And he's got some history. He wrote for Rick and Morty for a long time, which is a show that obviously delves into multiple universes,
time traveling, and all that stuff.
I just, what do you think he could be talking about, man?
I mean, I think I think there's a lot of interesting points to take away from the title of Doctor Strange 2, the multiverse, in particular. Not even the madness part, because I think one of the questions that we we go into Loki thinking about, and again, we already know from the trailers, Loki, you screwed up the timeline. Either go to prison or fix it.
Right.
Well, we don't know what he's going to do. We don't know if he's going to fix it. If he does it, or if he does fix it, how is that going to affect Doctor Strange 2? If he doesn't fix it, how is that going to affect Doctor Strange 2? So does the madness part have anything to do with what Loki does or doesn't do?
I hope so.
Because I mean, yeah, my thought was we're going to see a lot of, again, like we're going to see a lot of variances from Loki. And again, I think the other interesting part of it being a 6-episode series, kind of like what we saw with Falcon and Winter Soldier, is what's the pacing going to be like? With
it's going to be done before we know. It's going to be over so fast.
I know, which is great, but it also sucks at the same time because I have a feeling like, I feel like each MCU show we've gotten so far has been ascending. So like WandaVision we thought was good, but then Falcon Winter Soldier comes out and we're like, I think it's better than WandaVision.
We're getting there, we're cranking it up, right?
Yeah, so I figure Loki is going to be the next step on the ladder here as to what we're leading up to. But I expect us to see a lot of different things that Loki himself might see and might be tempted to venture off into. And I wonder if, like, again, because he's a trickster and literally the god of mischief, he's gonna screw some shit up. It's not gonna be all ironed out and nice and neat. Timeline's all nice and soft and gentle. No, that shit's gonna be messy and rough. Like, let's be real here. Like, because if it was all good, then whatever's coming, just literally in every single phase, wouldn't probably happen because the timeline wouldn't have been thrown off course,
right?
Farther than it already is.
I think all you have to do to get an idea as to where this show's going to go is the very first clip that they showed of this, which was during a Super Bowl trailer a year and a half ago at this point.
Yeah.
Loki's in a prison outfit and he says, "I'm going to burn this place to the ground." He's obviously talking about the TVA because he's wearing a TVA jumpsuit at this point for being in prison. He's going to manipulate people. He's going to do his own thing. He's going to march to his own beat. And it's going to be ridiculously fun to watch him do. I didn't think we were going to get any more Tom Hiddleston, back when Infinity War happened. And I'm glad we are. About that. And now the fact that we're going to get not just him, but the villainous version of him, not the good guy. He hasn't gone through all that redemption. That's right for some good stories.
I have a question for you and the audience watching. Do you think that this Loki, the villain Loki from the first Avengers, do you think he'll actually get a snippet as to what his alternate version that died for good in Infinity War, do you think he might see the events as to, and again, it might be a quick flash.
Oh, man.
Do you think he sees what he did in Thor 2, Thor 3, Infinity War, to the point of like, and I wonder if he does, will that really have any effect? Because if he's the only existing Loki now, does that also mean that we could see Thor see Loki again? Yeah. I don't think we'll see him in Thor Love and Thunder, but maybe another movie beyond that. I kind of wonder if that's plausible, really.
I think it is, because it's comic books. You can figure out a way to do pretty much anything, and the rules don't really matter. But I would love it if there was a scene when he's when he's a prisoner at the TVA. Him and Owen Wilson's character sit down at a table, and Owen Wilson's character is like, "So this is where you fucked up. This is where you fucked up, and this is where you fucked up. You did a little bit better here. You redeemed yourself. Look how good this was. And then the big purple guy killed you." And then Loki's just like sitting there in like complete disbelief about how his life was supposed to go.
Right.
I think that would be awesome. It'd be super fun. I think Tom Hiddleston would ham it up in a scene like that. So
yeah, it's also cool to hear how devoted he is to his character.
Yes.
Right. Like, and I love that. I love to hear that as an from an actor, you know. So it's not like he's just doing a good job acting. Like he's really getting involved in the character.
Yep.
And especially in the MCU. So it's, again, I think he's a, you know, big star for a lot of people. I know a lot of chicks dig him.
Yeah.
So I'm sure guys do as well. I'm a fan. You're a fan.
He's a big star.
He is a big star.
Role.
Oh, absolutely.
I think you sent me the picture a couple weeks back. That was like the Variety article that dropped the casting news with him and Hemsworth for the first one, and it's like
no name.
Marvel takes risk on no name actors, and now
look at him.
He's a megastar. So I think he knows that this role is what brought him to where he's at in his career. So he treats it with reverence and respect, and we're all the better for it. So
yep, absolutely.
All right. I know you said you had a wild theory for where you think this might go.
I'll quickly add my wild theory, and again, this would probably come into play of him seeing some things, and I don't know if this will ever happen, but for anyone out there watching, if you guys know or gals know what the Infinity Watch means, it would have to include essentially Adam Warlock, which we know is coming at some point in time.
Guardians 3, probably.
Right, but there are some other versions of the Infinity Watch, particularly in Loki's version. So again, him looking at possible timelines, cool, because he basically guards the Soul Stone, but the other 5 stones are controlled by, are they guarded by Emma Stone, who's the power. Emma Frost, who guards the power. Yeah, Emma Stone.
You watching Cruella this weekend?
Emma Frost, who guards the Power Stone. You've got Hulk, who guards the Space Stone. Ant-Man guards the Time Stone. Ms. Marvel, who guards the Mind Stone, and then Kang the Conqueror, who guards the Reality Stone. Every character is confirmed to already be in the MCU or is coming to the MCU, except Emma Frost. But she is a mutant. We know mutants are coming.
Yep.
And again, I think this could be a thing. Again, maybe something we quickly see. I also wonder if this could be something where we finally see a mutant in the timeline. And I know Kevin would be super stoked to see that.
Kevin's ears are burning.
Yeah. What? Did someone say mutant?
Kevin's still part of the show. He'll be back. Someday we'll have him back.
Yeah.
I promise.
But yeah, I think if anything, that could also be something that might be Secret Wars related. Again, who knows? But I think it would be kind of cool to see something like that.
Right.
More stones, more Thanos. I mean,
yeah.
You know, I think he's a better villain than Darkseid. Darkseid.
Hey, I don't think Marvel's done with Thanos. I think that
he came back a couple times in the comics.
Yeah, he comes back in the comics. He's definitely got ties to the Eternals.
Yeah,
you know, being a Celestial with a deviant gene.
Yeah,
I think that there's a very high probability that there's some connection that'll show up in that movie. So you never know. Hey,
I'm down for it.
And Kang the Conqueror, that would be great because we just get Jonathan Majors in there as fast as possible. That would be awesome. I don't have a wild theory like that, but if I had to predict something, I would say I think that by the end of this, at least one character from Multiverse of Madness will appear in the show. Whether it's Doctor Strange or Wanda or Wanda's kids or anyone from the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to show up if this is supposed to explicitly tie. Like, if you've got the same writer for both projects, that's not an accident, I don't think.
Yeah.
And if he's already saying that he's got messes from this that he needs to clean up in the other movie, I think there's a pretty good chance that something will happen.
I agree.
Man, Multiverse of Madness is going to be wild.
It is.
Like, do you ever like think about the fact that Marvel went out and got the guy that did the original Spider-Man movies to come back and do Multiverse of Madness? Like,
Yeah,
that shit's bananas, dude.
I never thought. Yeah, I didn't think that Sam Raimi would do a
right
another Marvel movie, but I mean, I think that's really far out that he did, and you know, I know a lot of people are looking forward to. I mean, not that I'm not looking forward to Thor: Love and Thunder, especially after seeing that Instagram post by Hemsworth today, where he's just, I'm not flexing because it's National Not Flex Day, but here I am, and my arms look bigger than your head, and you know,
stupid Jack.
Like, well, my arm workout today went to shit.
Yeah, him and The Rock are in competition with each other, I think, right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
For who could be the most jacked superhero of all time.
Thanks, Chris. But I'd be lying if I said I feel like that movie is going to change shit in the MCU.
Which one, Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think so.
Like, I'm really looking forward, and they both come out the same year.
They come out a couple months apart.
Yeah, so I think it's right. So the fact that we're getting them back to back, I believe, I think we're getting March and then May.
You know what? I think they are back to back.
And if that's the case, man, I tell you what, that's gonna be a treat.
Yeah, Multiverse of Madness is March 25th, and then Love and Thunder, I think, is May 6th that year.
Man,
so they're like a month and a half off from each other.
That's awesome.
And they're both like Avengers level. Like,
yep.
The people in the cast, the amount of characters, the big stories, like it's gonna be.
Yeah,
like we have like 1 week of the lull left, and then after that, Loki comes out, Black Widow releases in July, What If is in August, Shang-Chi is in September. I think Miss Marvel is going to come out in either September or October. Eternals is in November. Hawkeye comes out November, December. Spider-Man No Way Home comes out in December.
Yeah.
Like literally the rest of the year is like Marvel stuff
booked
every single week for the rest of 2021. Booked. And then it just bleeds right into 22, and 22 has some heavy hitters, man. You got Doctor Strange, Thor, Black Panther 2, the Marvels. There's a lot, dude.
There's gonna be a lot of stuff that's I'm really looking forward to see how like what Kevin Feige has in plan for this phase, to see it be fleshed out. You know, because by the end of phase 4, I think we'll know where the Fantastic Four lies.
I think that's the final film of phase 4.
Yeah,
is Fantastic Four. The way that they made that little welcome back to the movies trailer thing, if that was part of phase 5, I don't think they'd put it there. I think that's the capper for phase 4.
Yeah.
And that, how perfect is that? How poetic.
Exactly. That's
the Fantastic Four
justice right
close
there.
Out phase 4, and it's hopefully the first time they get done correctly. So
I would be remiss if they didn't, because like the third time's a charm, I guess. You know, like,
I guess they need the Feige touch. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think director wise we're safe. You know, is he writing the script as well?
I don't know who's doing the script for it, but I think Watts is capable. Obviously he's done all 3 Spider-Man films for Sony and Marvel.
Right.
Homecoming is very strong. Far From Home is good.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
You know, I think there's been some push and pull between Sony and Marvel on the script stuff. So I think when you get him on a movie that Marvel has full control over, where there's no Sony to get in the way, you can see some major differences come through. And he's gonna have to bring his A game, man, because that's the first family of Marvel right there. They can't screw that up.
It's unfortunate that there's a lot of pressure on him, but at the same time, I think I'm feeling okay about it so far. I'm really curious to see when we'll get some casting news and who gets put in those roles, because again, I think the actors also have some pressure and weight on their shoulders to
big time.
do a big job.
I think you'll get that by the end of the year. Because
I hope so.
If that's a 2023 release, it's gonna film by the end of this year, beginning of next year. Like Guardians 3 is a 2023 release, and they said that it starts filming in the fourth quarter of this year. So
right.
I expect Fantastic Four to be somewhere around that time, if not a little after that. And then they'll have to let the cat out of the bag as to who's playing those characters. But
it'll be fun to critique that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of videos to make between now and 2023. It's gonna be a full-time job eventually, but that is the goal, I think.
Yes, indeed.
So if you guys can't tell, we're really excited about all this stuff that's coming down the pike. We are going to be doing weekly reviews of the entire Loki series. That show drops on Wednesdays instead of Fridays. It's a little different than the last two Marvel shows. We are going to try our damnedest to get those videos up by Wednesday afternoon, because we know that everyone's going to want to talk about it. And they definitely are coming. So we should have a full slate between Mythic Quest, Loki, and Bad Batch to carry us for the next couple months. We're very excited about it. But if you guys are excited as we are for this Loki series, please drop us a comment below. Let us know where your hype levels are at. If you'd like to support the channel, go ahead and like this video, subscribe if you're new, turn on those notifications so that way you never miss any future content from us. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace.